New homeowners who purchased over the last 2 years are packing a lunch and going to work every day just so they can barely get by. According to this article, new homeowners are struggling to make their mortgage payments. And well, of course they are. They bought at the peak of the market and they have a 7% interest rate. So as this article states, 43% of new homeowners are struggling to make their payments on time, and 44% have taken on extra debt just to maintain their lifestyle. Remember all those headlines about credit card debt being at an all-time high? Well, there you go. People are racking up their credit card debt just so they can maintain their lifestyle. According to the survey that they did for this article, they found that 38% of home buyers purchased a home over their budget and 50% accepted a higher interest rate than planned in order to secure a mortgage. Now, I know this isn't great for those 43 or 38 or 50% of people that basically decided to YOLO on a new house, but at what point is it their fault? I mean, honestly, what are your thoughts? I'd be curious. Drop it in the comments down below. Should these people take some of the blame, or is it the economy's fault? Are all these economic factors at play more to blame than the actual person who is jeopardizing their finances just so they can have a home? But anyways, back to the article. To top it off, it says 85% of buyers compromised on their priorities when purchasing a home. Hey, little Jimmy, you remember that bike I was going to get you for your birthday? Yeah, sorry, it's going to have to wait a couple years. I mean, seriously, this is what I'm talking about. How much of the blame is on the shoulders of the home buyer here? But all jokes aside, take a look at this article that shows what people are sacrificing in order to have home ownership. These are the top sacrifices people say they've made recently in order to afford housing. So the first one on the list here is 34% took no or fewer vacations. Okay, that's understandable. I could see that. I mean, I haven't taken a vacation in I don't know how many years, so I could see somebody taking no vacations just so they can afford a new home. But this next one here kind of, I don't know about this one. Skipped meals. 22% of people said they skipped meals in order to afford housing. I mean, is home ownership really that important that you have to plan to not eat as much after you purchase the home just to afford the mortgage? And the third one here, kind of the same thing as well. If I'm going to be buying a home, I'm not going to be thinking, I think I'm going to have to work 10 extra hours every pay period just to afford this home. In that case, I just wouldn't buy the home. That means you really can't afford it. For one, you can't rely on overtime. You can't rely on that. So I just don't understand it. I mean, some of these things are kind of mind-boggling, right? Sold my belongings. Yeah, maybe if you were using that for a down payment. I mean, I could understand that. So work additional hours so you could build up a down payment. Borrowed money from friends. Sure, that happens. Down payment. If they're not talking about a down payment, saving for a down payment are absolutely ridiculous. But this is what people will do for the American dream. The problem is a lot of people aren't educated, and you've got a realtor, a buyer's agent, who's pressing somebody into buying a home because obviously they want a commission check. And, the buyer's like, are you sure this seems a bit expensive? And then the realtor's like, oh, no, that's okay. You can just refinance later. What do they say? Date the rate. Buy the house, date the rate. And what they're saying is you can buy the home and then later on just refinance, which is absolutely crazy. So a lot of people are just uneducated and they don't know these things, and then they end up purchasing a home at the peak of a market right before prices are going to crash, and then they end up in situations where they can hardly afford to live. So clearly there are a lot of folks that are struggling out there, and it seems the only way that they would get some relief is if interest rates came down or they got a raise at work. The latter being the less likely, in my opinion. But the issue with rates coming down and refinancing and, essentially dating the rate is it's not the best decision when you've only owned the home for 2 years and probably have no equity in it. They might have 5 or 10% equity in the home, and maybe not even that with some of these loan programs that allow you to finance up to 100% of the value of the home. So refinancing isn't the greatest idea, and it's expensive. For instance, my last refinance for a VA loan cost me $8,000, and they tacked that right onto the loan. That's right, they charged me $8,000. And I know that seems like a lot, but I went from a 4.5% to a 2.75%. However, those days are over. So the best these struggling homeowners can hope for is a 1 to 2% drop over the next 2 years, if anything at all. But if the Fed doesn't lower rates and the economy continues to contract, there are going to be more and more layoffs. So hopefully the situation for these struggling homeowners doesn't go from bad to worse with a layoff on the horizon. Now, for the buyers who have waited on the sidelines, on the other hand, they might actually see a break because it looks as if the housing market is going stale as inventory is rising and homes are sitting on the market for longer and longer. I personally can say I am finally closing on the sale of my personal home, and it took 7 months, and it's a nice home. And that's with 2 buyers falling through. So the market is definitely shifting right now. And according to this article by Redfin, more than 3 in 5 home sales are now stale. 61% of homes that were on the market in May had been listed for 30 days without going under contract. That's up 60% from 1 year earlier. That's a huge increase. And it's a good sign for prices to start dropping. Remember, this is May, which should be a busy time for home sales. And it's all about supply and demand. If there's a ton of supply out there, prices are eventually going to fall. Also, according to this Redfin article, 2 in 5 listings are sitting on the market for 60 days or more. I guess I was one of those statistics, apparently. The article also says that the share of homes sitting on the market for at least 60 days is likely to start increasing next month, so long as mortgage rates stay high. And that looks to be the case as Feds left rates unchanged. So that means homes are going to be sitting on the market for 60 days or longer, which means prices are going to fall. I think I dropped my price $20,000 in order to get it sold. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm in the Midwest, and it took me 7 months to sell my house. And if we take a look at data from Redfin, we can see that the monthly supply of homes is actually going up. Now, it's not quite to where it was 2 years ago. However, it's on the rise, which is a very good sign. So month supply up 0%, basically flat year over year, which is a very good sign because we were so undersupplied, and it seems as if we've caught back up. Homes sold above list price is dropping year over year, but something else that's almost mind-boggling is median sale price up 5.1% year over year. You can see here also number of homes sold is down 1.2% year over year, which is a good thing as well. That could be a sign that things are going to turn. As you can see here, 2 years ago, we were at 1.8 million homes listed on the market, and now we're at 1.7. So we're about 100,000 away from actually being where we were in 2022. So supply is slowly starting to build, which could be a good thing for people that are wanting to buy a home and they're sitting on the sidelines. But don't become one of these statistics that's in this article, where you're struggling to make your mortgage payments. That's not what home ownership is about. You should be able to afford it. You shouldn't be having to skip meals, work overtime, or sell your belongings in order to afford your mortgage payment. That's absolutely crazy. Very crazy. I mean, obviously people fall into circumstances where they lose their job or they get a pay cut, things like that. Understandable. But if you're looking to purchase a home, you should not be contemplating how many extra hours you're going to work just to afford it, or what extra things in your closet you're going to put on eBay in order to afford your mortgage. So things are definitely changing. If you're looking to purchase a home, wait. Don't purchase a home quite yet. I would wait until next year sometime. Probably first quarter, second quarter of 2025 is your best bet. By then, prices surely are going to fall. I mean, think about it. Right now is when home sales are usually through the roof. People are buying houses from May all the way to September, and it's basically stagnant. So I love the real estate market, and I think all this stuff is interesting. I've been waiting on prices to come down. I don't think this can sustain itself for much longer, and a lot of people disagree with me, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching this video. Please hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.